Welcome, new and returning listeners, to today's episode of the Black Business Roundtable. I am your host, Doug Blackshear, broadcasting to you live from the city of diversity, that is Oakland, California. Happy Black History Month 2023. Today is time for Victory's Corner and hey, I'm looking at the wrong script here. Well, I guess we'll have to readjust. And we're going to start all over again, audience. Welcome, new and returning listeners, to today's episode of the Black Business Roundtable. I am your host, Doug Blackshear, broadcasting to you live from the city of diversity, Oakland, California. Happy Black History Month and happy early Valentine's Day, as this is our Pre-Valentines Day episode. With all that is going on, make sure you don't forget about that beautiful loved one who has made your life better. We are on location live celebrating Black-owned businesses, starting with the beautiful Coco Noir Wine Shop and Bar, located at 360 13th Street, Oakland, California, 94612. Thank you, Elisa Kidd, CEO and founder, for this opportunity to showcase her beautiful wine and bar location down here in the middle of downtown Oakland. Today we celebrate with returning guest, vintner Donny of Lynching Wine of Sonoma, California, one of the few Black-owned winemakers in the United States. Mr. Glover will pair his wine with our next guest, Chef Michauxnee Olier, aka the Busy Wife. Boy, I can't wait to see what she's cooking today, folks. Chef Michauxnee is cooking up a storm, so stay tuned to the recipe if you are looking to put your kitchen skills to work on Valentine's Day in 2023. Love is in the air. Smell it? Love is in the air, and we are reminding you early so you don't have any excuses or get cussed out for forgetting. So get your cards out in the mail in the morning, get your dinner apron on, and lock down your plans tonight. Or you might be asked out and sitting out on the dock at Lake Merritt, drowning your tears with a 40-ounce beer. I want to thank my sister and our mental health specialist expert. I saved that introduction, of course, for my co-host, Dr. Ashley Coleman, Doctor of Psychology, with us each week as she broadcasts live from Southern California, helping us all with our mental health needs. And I'd like to say, audience, just as you would have a toothache, just as you would have a broken leg, just as you would need foot or bone specialist, if you have a splinter in your brain, please be sure to talk to a doctor of psychology. And it's important that we keep mentally strong just as we are physically strong. This week, however, Dr. Ashley has a speaking engagement and returns next week. So get to our pre-Valentine. So let's get to our pre-Valentine show 2023. Instagram at Coco Noir Wine Shop, hashtag Coco Noir Wine Shop, at Lynching Wines, at Lynching Wines, at The Busy Wife 2017, Hashtag the Busy Wife 2017. Audience, I want to give you the opportunity to see Coco Noir Wine Shop Bar, woman-owned, Black woman-owned, business established. So I'm gonna walk around and share this beautiful ambiance. Oh my goodness. Take a look at what we have here. Wow. Is this beautiful or what? Look at that. Come down and join us at Coco Noir. Look at this place here. You're talking about having a good time, ready to unwind. Oh, and there is the proprietor right there. She's setting up because they open up at 4. Uh-oh, who's that at the bar? Is that Tammy Willis? Oh my goodness. Look at this. Wow. Uh-oh. We have I'm gonna go slow. Audience, I'd like to introduce, this is Alicia Kidd, owner of Coco Noir. And let's take a minute to introduce this beautiful Black sister who owns this company and one of the few Black woman-owned businesses, wine-owned businesses. Mm-hmm. Can you introduce yourself, Mrs. Kidd, please?
Yes.
Ms. Kidd, please.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alicia Kidd. I am the owner of Coco Noir Wine Shop and Bar. I've been here for about 2 months now, but I've been in the industry for about 6 years. In addition to owning this company, I own another company, a parent company called The Wine Noir, which is a woman and Black-owned distribution and import company. So yes.
Audience, I'd like to say this.
I'll move over this way.
I'd like to say this, audience. Let's be clear here. It is so important that not just here in Oakland and in the county and in the state of California, but when you come to Oakland, California, from whether it be LA, Chicago, Miami, or the East Coast, make sure you stop in at Coco Noir Wine and Bar. Oh my God, look at
So we also want to show you our charcuterie boards here. We sell these here. We make them ourselves, which are amazing. So if you come here, not only are you going to get wine by Black winemakers and winemakers of color, you also, and Doug already showed, sorry. That's okay. Technical difficulties. So in addition to getting the charcuterie boards, you already did a tour, right?
Yes.
So we'll do another tour. Here you go. And then we also have our little snack boards as well for you. So come on down on 360 13th Street.
And let's get a top view of that. Yes, look at that. Wine and snacks.
So let me show you around. I know you did a tour. So this is our retail area here. So this is our retail area. All of these wines are majority, I would say 80 to 90% Black owned. The other is people of color owned and women. So you can come here. This side here is the lounge area. And over there was the tasting room. And then back here is our champagne and bubble room. So all of these champagnes here are Black owned. All of these sparklings are either Black owned or women owned or people of color owned. We also have non-alcoholic for people that don't want to drink. Ooh, here we go. That don't want to drink. So these are some of the little things that happen. But yeah, I've been around open since December of 2022. So 2 months.
Thank you for sharing the spot. Thank you for sharing these beautiful bottles. And I want to get some up-close shots of that.
So here's some champagne by B. Stevenson out of France. So you can come buy these. You can also come enjoy some bottles with your friends. Yeah. So we're, again, just all around. So we dedicate all of this to Black or majority Black champagne makers.
Wow, look
and
at
sparkling.
that.
These are all sparklings and non-alcoholic.
Is that Black Girl Magic?
Yep.
Wow.
Pride Sisters from Oakland in the Bay Area.
As you can see, audience, I am going to have a wonderful time at the end of the show. So let's sit back down and get comfortable again. And let me be clear here, audience. This is one beautiful location. The ambiance is outstanding, and the owner is very gracious and hospitable. Audience, I want to give Ms. Kidd an opportunity to share this warm place to unwind and relax, or to bring a loved one down and enjoy some of the great wine that she has here at her location. A warm thank you, as always, to Mr. Donny Glover of the BlackUSA.News for the honor of the Black Business Roundtable being a part of your growing network dedicated to bringing the real, unfiltered news before the news. Hashtag BlackUSA.News, hashtag Donny Glover. Today, February 9th, 2023, as noted via the National Day calendar, today is National Giving Hearts Day. The second Thursday in February, hashtag Giving Hearts Day. The celebration offers one of the best opportunities to donate to your favorite charity. Thank you, National Day calendar. Some current events in the news today. On our previous podcast featured Colorado rancher and ex-U.S. Marine being terrorized with threats of lynching, experiencing property theft, animal mutilation and poisoning, trespassing in a mostly rural area of El Paso County, Colorado. Under Governor Gerard, just remember that name. Watch. This is shameful. Shame, shame, shame. And this is supposed to be America. This week, on Monday, Mr. Mallory was arrested and Mrs. Mallory did a live video as it was happening. Was bonded out and released, and the following day, the callers far and wide, including our team, was calling the jail, checking on his welfare throughout the night. So Mrs. Mallory was bailed out that night, bonded out that night, and they kept Mr. Mallory. This is shameful. This is unbelievable what's going on in Colorado. The good news is everyone is helping tremendously. As of January 19th, 2023, the GoFundMe went from started in January 19, 2023. It was at $3,000 initially. And today's date, we are at $90,000 with over 1,900 donors. And the petition went from 810 signatures to 4,355 signatures. Way to go to America. Let's fight for the right to do what we have to do to own our own land and not be bullied in these rural areas that is actually being supported by the deputy down there. Yes, the law enforcement is helping with the sabotage and the harassment of this Black family ranch, Black family-owned ranch. We have started an Instagram post reel. We are calling Operation Whack-A-Mole Colorado. And Whack-A-Mole Colorado, hashtag Whack-A-Mole Colorado. For the social media savvy, we humbly ask that you take just one of our posts and reels on this rancher and highlight on your social and use our 9 list hashtag. Hashtag GOVOVCO, hashtag CO prosecutors, hashtag 4th judicial DA, that's numeral 4 TH, Judicial DA, hashtag EPC Colorado, hashtag Whack-A-Mole Colorado, I like that one, hashtag Save Freedom Acres Ranch, and add hashtags for your state's official governor, attorney general, local mayor, and news station. This week, Black Business Roundtable thumbs up goes to Council Member Carol Fifes, Oakland, California, District 3, for introducing the resolution in celebration of Black History Month honoring community members, which I feel honored. Included me and many other members of the community. Yes, the mayor of Oakland, California. Thank you, Mayor Shane Tile, as well, for personally awarding me this honor. This week's Black Business Roundtable thumbs down goes to the Black Business Roundtable Naughty List 2023. This week, El Paso County Sheriff's Office of Colorado for the initial warrant served on a Colorado ranching family, Black ranching family, of Mr. and Mrs. Mallory for the arrest this past Monday, and of Mr. Mallory on Monday, and Mrs. Mallory was also arrested this week but released shortly after. After Mr. Mallory's arrest, the sheriff's office later that very day, while Mr. Mallory was in custody, shared a letter on social media for the assistance of the Black and Latino Leadership Coalition to help coordinate a meeting with the Mallorys. Now, shouldn't that have been happened before both their arrests this week, not afterwards? Unbelievable. I, being a former at-large commissioner of the Community Policing Advisory Board in Oakland, California, getting folks together while the temperature is still low seems to have been a better solution. Issuing such a letter was additional salt in the wound of this family while Mr. Mallory was in custody. Our team called the jail at February 7th, 2023 at 4:07 a.m. in the morning as Mrs. Mallory asked everyone to do that witness the live arrest of Mr. Mallory. Another ironic twist, Mr. Mallory's court date is February 14th, 2023. Don't receive the thumbs down in hashtag the town. Do better. You are welcome to come and talk with us about it and make it right. Hashtag BBRT Naughty List, hashtag BBRT Naughty List 2023. Today's show highlight. Today we celebrate Valentine's Day early on location at the Coco Noir Wine Shop and Bar with a virtual visit with Donny Glover and scrumptious recipes made live with chef, my sister, Michauxnee. Get your pen and paper out and jot down wine selection and recipe. So let's get started this second Thursday of February 2023, the month of love. Shout out to Dr. Ashley and get ready for the Valentine's Fixing and the Scoop from Oakland right here on the Black Business Roundtable, February 9th, 2023, our Pre-Valentines Day special. My show guests today include my co-host had a speaking engagement, so Therapeutic Thursday, check in with Dr. Ashley Coleman, tenured and immediate past department chair, assistant professor of psychology at University of the West. Will return next week. Danny Glover, winemaker, proprietor of L'Objet Wines, Instagram at L'Objet Wines, hashtag L'Objet Wines, phone number 707-235-3153. And last but definitely not least, Chef Michauxnee Olier. Chef Michauxnee sits on the board of St. Kaffa Garden, Oakland, and collaborates with nonprofit organizations such as MISSY, and that abbreviation means motivating, inspiring, supporting, and serving sexually exploited youth. Youth Uprising, BOSS, Oakland, building opportunity for self-sufficiency to create safe places for growth and education for people want and need it most. So thank you, Michauxnee, for coming on today. You can visit her Instagram at TheBusyWife2017, hashtag TheBusyWife2017. Now, for the national political highlights, the President of the United States gave a union address last night. Did you get a chance to listen to it? Last night was interesting, especially when President Biden got the GOP to stand up for the record in regards to Social Security and Medicare. However, we shall see. We shall see. Tyree Nichols' parents and also Mr. Pelosi were both in the audience. And now for the news of the day. On this day, February 1960, home of Carlotta Hall and of the Little Rock Nine bomb. Oh my God, that was horrific. Bomb, courtesy of EJI, Equal Justice Initiative. For more information and to read the full story of this day in our Black and Brown history. And we have customers coming in already, patronizing this beautiful location here in downtown Oakland at Coco Noir Bar, Wine and Bar, located at 360 13th Street in Oakland, California. We return next week with our weekly Therapeutic Thursday, but as always, Dr. Ashley wants to be sure you have the following, as not everyone is feeling love during Valentine's and may be struggling. If you are under anxiety, depression, feeling like you want to commit suicide, call 988. Call 988. This is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline and available 24/7. Chat or text. Women in our audience looking for a therapist, check out therapyforblackgirls.com. And men in our audience looking for a therapist, check out therapyforblackmen.org. Now let's welcome Danny Glover, winemaker, proprietor. Wow. I love to see about Black men and women going into areas that are non-traditional. So let's welcome winemaker, proprietor of L'Objet Wines. Visit his website at l'objetwines.com. A Black-owned winemaker in the esteemed and rightly so Sonoma, California. Audience supporting Black-owned businesses is just as easy as any other business. According to Wine Institute figures, California wine industry contributes $114 billion annually to the American economy and employs 786,000 workers. Golden State is responsible for producing 81% of all the wine made in America, courtesy of Feast and Field. Each and every purchase is a conscious effort to support our own Black Wall Street. And remember that, our own Black Wall Street, not the Wall Street. Welcome back, sir. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
We are so glad to have you here, and I want to make sure that we hook you up with the owner of Coco Noir, who has a beautiful location here in downtown Oakland that I've been here several times and have had an awesome time.
Cool.
Thank you for joining us again this year. So catch us up on what has been happening since we last saw you April 14th, 2022. I think you attended the Vintage Hollywood Foundation food event last year for your social media. What is this foundation and their event all about? Thank you, sir, and it's good seeing you again.
Good to see you too, Doug. So Vintage Hollywood is, what they do is they, basically they do a fundraiser once a year, but they kind of work for, throughout the year, raising money and for various charities. This year, last couple of years, it's been for the Go campaign, which is a global organization, but it's very central and it's very niched in each community. So the money they donate goes to, or money that's being raised goes to California. It doesn't go to other parts of the world. So every part is kind of, responsible for their own fundraising, and they help out kids and homeless women, people that are disadvantaged, that just need help, and not just throwing money at them, but actually like helping them with, vocational training and, basically teaching them how to fish instead of giving them a fish.
Mr. Glover, you're it's a little sketchy on the sound.
Okay. Is it just not loud enough?
That's a little bit better. We want to make sure our audience captures and get a full scoop of what you're saying. So that's why I want to make sure that we get that communication device working properly.
All right, hold on. Is that better?
Yeah, it's a little better, sir.
All right. How about that?
Yes, much better.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Well, you did some traveling this year as well as I see Seattle, Washington,
yes,
for the Black Men in Wine Dinner. Can you tell us a little about this event? Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So Marcia Jones from Urban Connoisseurs, she's a huge advocate for African American winemakers. So she does a Black men and a Black women event every year. So, and what we're doing is we're raising money. She's been heading down to the South to a lot of historically Black colleges and universities and talking to the kids there that are going to school for agriculture and saying, hey, you can get in the wine business. This is, there's a lot of us in here. And a lot of them are like, I didn't know that was an option. And so she's kind of, she's raising scholarship money to send kids to school, to get kids into internships and help them pay for their, for food and housing and stuff like that while they're interning. So, we met Miles, who was the first recipient of the scholarship, and he's a delightful young man, and he's working over in Napa. And so we're starting, we're trying to diversify the industry a little bit.
Well, as you know, I am a big advocate for minority, Black, and women-owned businesses, and not only City of Oakland, County of Alameda, State of California, but all across the United States. And our podcast goes from coast to coast. So can you be sure, matter of fact, we want to say that name a couple of times. Tell us the name of your wine company so it could resonate from coast to coast and in several other countries. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, it's called Lobjet, Lobjet, L'Objet wines. L'Objet is kind of an adored, admired, revered object in French, and so it started out as L'Objet Noir for my Pinot Noir, and then L'Objet Blanc. So it's the company's name is L'Objet Wines. Just trying to keep something, not be too pretentious, but kind of make it a little classy, and also to kind of talk about it. The name kind of tells you what style of wine I'm making. So I'm trying to make more of an old world European style, which is little lower alcohol, more about the vineyards and the fruit than it is about what I do to it. So it's really about the wine and the grapes, and it's not about my manipulation of it. So that's kind of the gist of why the name is and all that.
Well, shortly, Chef Michauxnee will be on as she is cooking. Man, it's going to make your mouth water when I tell you this. Jamaican curry Chilean sea bass with peppers over steamed rice. My mouth is watering so. What L'Objet wine? What L'Objet wine would be the perfect pairing for this dinner, sir? Thank you.
Well, I just happen to have that here. This is the L'Objet Blanc. It is Sauvignon Blanc from Dry Creek Valley, and it's very crisp, nice acidity, and it also has some nice tropical fruit like mango and papaya and a little bit of citrus. So it's lovely, and I think with that dish, especially a curry dish, something a little spicy, the fruit notes and the acidity will go extremely well with that curry sea bass. Amazing.
Well, let me ask you something, because I'm not really a wine connoisseur. So how does that go when you have red meat? Wait a minute, hold on, let me join you. Let me join you. Let's toast to that. Let me ask you something. How does that go when you have meat, red meat, or when you have fish? What's the rule on that?
I don't like rules.
Okay, me neither. I'm lawless. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I think that, traditionally it's, with red wine with red meat, white wine with fish, chicken. But I always say that, if there's a wine that you like, then just drink it with that dish, because you like that wine. Now, obviously there are certain wines that go with certain foods and they enhance each other. But I think, like I make Pinot Noir and I make, they'll go well with the steak or whitefish. And depending on the sauce, that type of thing. I think this Sauvignon Blanc, let's say you were doing a curried beef instead of fish, but that spicy curry is going to knock down some of the flavors in the red wine. So you need something a little lighter and crisper, especially if the curry's a little spicy. Then you want something a little more crisp, fruity, lighter fruit. So even with beef, if you're doing a curry, then this Sauvignon Blanc would be great with it.
Okay. And how can we get your wines locally here in the Bay Area? How can folks get your wine nationally, as the Super Bowl is this weekend? President's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Cinco de Mayo, Mother's and Father's Day, Memorial Day, and 4th of July are coming up.
Well, you can just go to the website. I'm very small, so I don't have wines distributed around the country. But I'm able to ship wines pretty much everywhere in the country. So if you go to the website, like you mentioned, l'objetwines.com, you can order right from there. And let's do something like, since if you heard it on this show, and if you're listening to this show and you'd like some wine, let's give you a 10% discount, and just mention that you heard me on the show, and I'll give you a 10% discount.
Okay. And let me ask you something. How up in Sonoma, how can is there a spot where they can see your facilities, or how can people who going up to Sonoma, Napa, in that area, visit your spot if you do have one, and how can they possibly meet with you? And because I find you a very interesting and positive person, and just
Thank you.
being a part of the new generation, and I say new generation of winemakers who are of African American, Black, and how can our audience get in touch with you up there?
Well, I don't have a tasting room. I actually make my wine at a friend's facility, so I don't have a tasting room. I don't have a place where you can come tour. One of the things I do offer, though, is I do offer some private tastings. If you're staying up here, I do come visit you. If there's like 6 people or more, I will come. If you're staying at an Airbnb or something like that, I can come visit you. And otherwise, we can maybe help, whatever. There's always ways to work something out. So, get a hold of me, and we can try and figure something out. So you can try some of the wines, and we can meet each other, and I think that'd be great.
Was it difficult for you to get into the wine business, sir?
Um, yes and no. I mean, I started at Clos du Bois, and I wasn't like most people. During most harvests, people are hired as harvest help, so they let you go kind of in late November, December. They kept me on and through the year, but they wouldn't hire me full time. And then it took a couple of years, but by that time I was ready to go, and so I did. Um, yeah, I mean it was a little bit of a struggle, but it was just something I was passionate about, and I thought, this, if I'm going to do this, I have to put up with, this kind of, and it's not just something that happens to me, it happens to most people that go through harvest and interning and all that stuff. Um, so yeah, but it, it was worth it, it was definitely, for me, it was worth, because I was very passionate about trying to make wine and learning how to make wine, and I didn't go to school for it, so it was very important for me to keep that job and work extra hard and learn as much as I could, and really try and scoop up all the knowledge that I possibly could.
Well, one of the things that I find with the beverages industry, and it looks like our podcast guru and master of ceremonies and the man of everything, Mr. Donny Glover. He has some questions here. If you don't mind, I'm gonna ask you: do you still do wine tasting online?
Yeah, I can do that. That's not a problem. I've had people do that, so they'll purchase the wine, and then we'll schedule a time where we all sit down together and do like something like this, and we'll taste the wines together, and I'll talk about how they're made and um, and give food pairings for them and things like that. Yeah.
And the pandemic has brought a lot of hybrid virtual wine opportunities for smaller winemakers. Has this helped expose your wines?
Yeah, it has. It's especially during the pandemic, I was doing a lot of virtual tastings for individuals, for corporations, that type of thing. Um, and yeah, it was definitely it was funny because I thought part of my business was going and traveling and doing events, a lot of charity events to get the name out. And it turned into, I figured, what the heck am I going to do? And then it just kind of pivoted into this whole virtual thing. So it's turned out okay. It's doing well, and I love doing it. It's, I get to, I mean, as much as I like to travel, I get to not travel, but I still get to meet folks. You know, I like meeting them face to face better, but, it's still a great way to meet folks and have them try lunch, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you also for offering a discount for those mentioning they saw you on this show today. And audience, let's be clear here. This gentleman has put many decades in learning sales and marketing and winemaking. This is a Black-owned business. We want to make sure that at the end of this show, that you get some phone calls and we start shipping those boxes out. How does that process work with the shipping? They call you and they can go next day air, regular, ground. How does that work so that our audience know how fast they can get this great wine?
It's really simple. You can either go online and go and order on the website, and that's usually the easiest. Depends where you're living. So, for example, if you're in California, it's usually next day. California, yeah, if you're in California, it's usually next day. If you are in, like, Arizona or Oregon or Nevada or Washington, it's 2-day. And then the rest of the state, then if you're in the East Coast, it's probably a 5-day turnaround, unless you do want a 2 or 3 day, which, yeah, obviously it's UPS, so that costs extra, but that's totally possible.
Okay, because we want to make sure at the end of this show you get some orders in there, and how is business going at this point?
Well, it's a little slow right now because it's the January, February, which is always slow for almost every winery. But things are picking up a little bit here and there, and they will continue to pick up. It's just kind of the slow season, and so coming on shows like this is great. I really appreciate you having me on, and so I can kind of do a little promotion and talk, and talk to folks that may not have seen or know who I am, or that there are Black winemakers out there. So I think it's important.
Are you going to be featured at any events this spring?
This spring, I'm doing a winemaker dinner up in Seattle in February for a Black-owned wine shop called Gin Baby. And then this spring, nothing's planned yet, but my the way it seems to work with my business is that things fly at you very quickly. Somebody will call you up and say, "Can you do this in a week?" That type of thing. So, but I have nothing planned right now. It's just I have some. Actually, I'm going to be in the middle of bottling and prepping for bottling this month and into March. So that's going to keep me busy for a while. I will be in Omaha, Nebraska soon, probably this May or June, for a charity event.
Okay, my producer sent me a message because she said the sound is not that good. And can we get you to call me? So, because I want to make sure our audience get all the information at the end. And matter of fact, is this the number that I'm looking at on the screen? 707, last number ending 3153. Is that the number?
Yeah.
We'll call you on that number, but I know it's a little sketchy. I thought it was because of the location. I'm going to give you a call. We want to make sure this audience gets a good feel for what you're saying and captures the essence of having. Okay, here we go right here.
Hello.
All right, there we go. I'm gonna turn this one. Okay, put yours on mute. Your
Okay.
Oh, that is much better. Much better.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so we have a few questions here. How was the harvest this year?
Harvest was good. It was a little early.
Okay.
My Sauvignon Blanc came in, and it was probably one of the best I've ever made. Let's see, the Pinot came in. It was beautiful. It came in late. We had a huge heat spike for about 3 days, 4 days, of about 115 degrees. And that was a little scary. But everything came in right before that heat spike for me. So all the grapes were beautiful, lovely. Everything's fermented. It's in the barrel and tasting great. So I'm excited.
Well, let me ask you something. Can we pick up wines that we order for events such as engagement events or weddings?
Yes, definitely. That's really easy to do. You can call me and we can work out something. Especially if you're buying, like 3 or 4 cases or something like that, we can work out something so it's not as expensive as, going to, as it normally would.
Okay. And if our audience wanted to do the wine tasting virtually, would they make an appointment, or how does that work out?
Yeah, you can email me at dan@lovejwines.com or hit me up on the Instagram or Facebook, either one, and we can make an appointment. That's not a problem.
Okay. Now I'm going to go back to a couple of questions that we had asked. Reason for that is because the sound was very bad, and I want to make sure our audience understands and has a clear understanding of how to make contact with you, how to spend their money with you, and how to support your business. So I'm gonna go back to where we talked about you did some traveling this year, as well as I see Seattle, Washington for the Black Men in Wine Dinner. Can you tell us again a little about this event?
So it's a great event. Marcia Jones, who runs Urban Connoisseurs up there, she does a Black Men in Wine and a Black Women in Wine. So they're all winemakers. And so they're 2 separate events. And she's raising money for scholarship money for people, minorities, to come into the wine business and help diversify the wine business.
Now,
and so,
go ahead.
We met a young man who is working over in Napa now, and he's the first recipient of the scholarship. And so, he helps pay for a lot of the bills and that type of thing, so he can come and work here. And now she's going down to a lot of historically Black universities and colleges, and she is promoting winemaking for these agriculture students who didn't know that they could get in the wine industry. Well,
I'm going to go back to, because I see our chef is backstage, and I'm getting all excited off that sea bass. Let's go back to the question where we will shortly, Chef Michauxnee will be on as she is cooking Jamaican curry Chilean sea bass with peppers over steamed rice. My mouth is watering. And what L'Objet wine, once again, would be the perfect pairing for this dinner? Well, before.
I just happen to have it right here. It's the L'Objet Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc from Dry Creek Valley. And it goes really, really well with curry, seafood, and both. I love it with this dish. It should be amazing.
Well, I want to say this. I am excited that we have Michauxnee backstage. I'm excited we have you here on stage. And once again, tell us how our audience can get in touch with you. We're going to have it at the bottom of the screen here. Explain the online virtual tasting and how does that work to and I know you said earlier, but the sound was a little sketchy. So can you reiterate that to our audience? Thank you.
Yeah. So you can get a hold of me either through email, which is dan@labjwines.com, or you can hit me up on the Instagram, which is @labjwines. Facebook, same thing. You can, you can send me a chat, whatever you want to do, or like I said, or email me. And what we can do is set up an appointment. Usually, how I do it is you purchase whatever wines you want to taste, and then I send them out to you, and then we'll make an appointment for us to get together and do a Zoom or something.
Okay, and I think my producer said, let's see that wine that goes with the dish, that sea bass dish again. Now, what's the name of that wine?
This is L'Objet Blanc.
Okay, L'Objet Blanc. And what
it's a Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc. Sauvignon Blanc. I'm learning. Well, let me tell you something. This has been a true honor to have you back on the show today. And we want to promote your business as we promote all Black African-American businesses, not just here in Oakland, Alameda County, state of California, but all across the United States. This audience, this gentleman exemplified entrepreneurship. He's in an industry that has been traditionally not open to Black and African-American people. There are several Black-owned wine bars in the Bay Area. I will get your information from our producer. One is Ken Folks Coffee and Wine Bar. I'm at one of the best places in the Bay Area, if not the county or the state. Coco Noir. And let me tell you something, man. This is the type of place when you get off work, you can unwind and relax and really feel a sense of calm, because some places you go is so hustle bustle that you don't enjoy the ambiance. So we want to make sure we get your wine in these businesses as well as out to private and public areas. So be sure to send your information to our producer, and we want to make sure that we get you out there. Thank you, sir, for showing up.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Well, I want to say thank you for showing up and showing out. So once again, folks, this has been an awesome opportunity to engage. And Mr. Glover, actually, your name is the same name as our mastermind behind the Black Business Roundtable, BlackUSA.news. I almost would ask, are you cousins?
I don't think so, but we are now.
Well, we look forward to hearing and seeing you again. Donny Glover, winemaker, proprietor of L'Objet Wine in Sonoma County. Instagram at L'Objet Wine, hashtag L'Objet Wine, phone number 707-235-3153 as at the bottom of the screen here today. And there goes, girl, we got the right wine for your dish, the sea bass today.
It looks like you do. What kind of wine is it? I missed what it was, but I see it's a white wine. What kind is it?
It's Sauvignon Blanc.
That will go nice with this fish, this rich fish, and the coconut milk. It cut some of that fat with some acid. Yeah, that would be really pretty.
And if it's if you're making a little spicy, also.
I am gonna spice it up today. I'm in the mood for a little spice.
Nice. Yeah. No, this wine would go perfect. I'm interested in your dish because I might copy it.
Hey, that's what it's here for. I mean, I try to, when I do this show, I try to create recipes that are really simple and don't take more than 10 or 15 minutes to make from start to finish, so that you're not spending all your time in the kitchen. You can actually sit down and enjoy some of your time with a nice glass of wine and a good meal.
Right.
Well, Danny Glover, this is Chef Michauxnee Olier.
Very nice to meet you, Mr. Glover.
Michauxnee, my pleasure.
And let me tell you something. She is one of the best chefs, not just here in Oakland, not in the county, not in the state.
All
so across this country, her dishes resonate with my taste buds.
I appreciate that, Doug. Mr. Glover, actually, I'm glad to connect with you today. As I get ready to secure a brick and mortar location, one of the things that I want to do is showcase Black-owned winemakers and their wines in my space. The restaurant will be dedicated to us. It'll be paying homage to my ancestors and the rest of ours, especially the ones that migrated here from the South and made roots here. And I'm big on making sure we look out for each other. So I look forward to, once I come off the wagon, I'm on the wagon right now. Once I come off the wagon and do a little tasting, I would love to meet with you and see how we could build some brand business together.
I would love that. That would be amazing.
Audience, this is the type of networking that I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah. That's what it's about.
It'd be great. I would love it. Are you going to open in Oakland?
I'm doing my best to open in Oakland. I'm in negotiations with the space folks now, waiting on some confirmation dates for some meetings so we can talk it out, hash it out, and hopefully build it out.
Yeah, nice. Well, my fingers are crossed. My prayers are for you.
Thank you.
Well, and also, just to let you both know, I was just honored by the mayor of Oakland, California for Black History Month. And I want to make sure that all the businesses that are Black owned, that our mayor understands that we need to promote in this city. So we will definitely be talking to you too.
Appreciate that.
It's been a great opportunity. We look forward to having you back on the show, and keep us informed and let us know anyway how we can help get you out there more than what you are. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you giving me the time to come on. And it's really great to see you guys again. You guys have been always a great promoters and advocates. And, that's the last time we talked a lot about community. And you guys do a great job of spreading the community, building up the community, and I appreciate what you guys are doing. So thank you.
The party's just getting started, Dan. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. You guys enjoy, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Take care.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Chef Michauxnee.
All right.
What's going on? I'm going to take us to a quick break, and then give me about 2 minutes.
No problem. I'm going to grab some water.
Okay. All right. And I'm waiting for that sea bass, girl. Ooh, I'm going to take me off the screen so we can focus on you, because I want to be writing stuff down. I might have to run. I might have to run home.
It's easy. It's going to be easy peasy. It's going to be, I like to do it easy, smooth and easy.
Chef Michauxnee, I don't think I can match, even if you gave me the all the recipe. You put that touch of love on you.
Well, I probably appreciate that, but I think you can pull this one off. I think you could pull this one off and impress your own self.
Audience, I want to thank Donny Glover of BlackUSA.news, and be sure to tune in to Chap and Friends on Monday, Party Marty, Let's Talk on Tuesday, Black USA Crypto News with my brother Kamal Hubbard on Friday, as he knows all about blockchain cryptocurrency. On Saturday, Blackout Live from New York with my sister Tajmir, and on Sunday, 60 Minutes in Black USA with my brother Michael Haney. To join the BBRT Black Business Roundtable Advertising family, or to be a possible guest on the show, reach us via our email, bbrt2021@hotmail.com. Please include your company name, address, website, company phone number, and social media page info to our email address, BBRT2021@hotmail.com for vetting consideration. Welcome back, Michauxnee. Chef Michauxnee was born in Berkeley, California, and raised in Oakland, California, until a family moved to Tracy, California in 1985. Oh, okay, now turn that off. 1980. Growing up in the barn in West Oakland, and you're gonna have to explain the barn because our audience like the barn. in the barn in West Oakland, Chef Michauxnee hails from a legacy of confronting soul food. After a 2017 job loss, Chef Michauxnee began to walk in her passion, serving her community through food. She offers catering services, custom menus starting at $27 per person. She caters all types of events, including corporate functions, weddings, birthdays, parties, vacation getaways, retreat cookouts, church functions, and any event you plan. Up to 200 guests. Behind the food, Chef Michauxnee supports community feeding. Provisions are plentiful, and we must do the work to combat food insecurity. Everyone can eat, and that is important. Everyone can eat. She supports entrepreneurship. Chef Michauxnee believes that to build up one is to build up many. Ooh, I love that. I'm going to say that again. Chef Michauxnee believes to build up one is to build up many. That's awesome. Chef Michauxnee chooses collaboration over competition. She believes in community partnership. The busy wife is licensed, insured, and safety certified. We are blessed to have her here today to share her love of good food. Welcome, Chef Michauxnee Olier. She can be reached via phone at 510-927-0531 or email her at tbwpersonal chef. That's tbw personal chef, and it's at the bottom of the screen at gmail.com. Facebook and Instagram. Welcome, Chef. How are you?
Thank you for that warm welcome, Doug. I appreciate it.
Girl, you know, you take care of me too much. Too much for me to give you anything left.
That's my job.
That's
my job.
Well, let me tell you something. Wherever you open up your brick and mortar, I heard you telling Donny that you're going to open up a brick and mortar. When you open it up, we're going live from that location.
We absolutely are going to have a good time with that. We're close. As soon as I have the okay and the funding is secured, I'm going to make the big announcement, and we negotiate this space, and I will let everyone know where we're going to be, and hopefully we'll get the build out rolling right away so that we can have a grand opening around July. Excuse me 1 second.
Audience, this Jamaican curry Chilean sea bass with peppers over steamed rice. I am looking forward to that. I might have to share that with my significant other, my friend, for Valentine's Day menu. But go ahead, man, Chef Michauxnee.
So, sea bass is one of my most favorite fishes. It's a little expensive. It can be on the pricey side, but it's very decadent. Sea bass is deemed the lobster of the ocean, of the fish, and rightfully so. It's got a real mild and buttery, flaky texture when prepared properly. It pairs well with vegetables, all vegetables. Like it's a great all around fish, especially for folks who don't like fishy fish. The richness, it gives you a lot of protein, so it's got a lot of the omega fats that you need to help move everything around in your arteries well and whatnot. Give you some brain power, but it's just a nice treat. It's not something that I would eat every day because it is a fatty fish, but it is really, really, really good.
Before you dive into it, because I'm gonna turn the screen over you, turn the show over to you, because I'm gonna be writing everything. I don't have time to go back and look at the show. I'm gonna have to write it all down. Audience, is today Chef Michauxnee, if you didn't hear earlier, she is going to be showing us how to make Jamaican curry Chilean sea bass with peppers over steamed rice for this Valentine's menu. I have only 2 questions to be sure our audience gets everything needed. Can you tell us the ingredients we need to have and why did you choose this particular fish? Okay, take it away, Chef Michauxnee.
Okay, so we're starting with, we have our sea bass, and you can get sea bass at your local grocery store or a fish market or meat market. Sea bass, if you guys can see it close, it's a really white fish. It's white all the way through. It stays white when it cooks. It's very meaty. It's very hearty. These are 4-ounce portions, but it's a nice piece of meat altogether. I chose sea bass because it's a very versatile fish. It roasts well. It pan sears well. You can throw it on the grill. There's so many different ways you can prepare it, and every one of them is delicious. Like, you can't really mess this fish up too much. Even if you overcook it, you still won't mess it up all the way. It's too rich to dry out too much. It's just a great versatile fish. But like I said, it can be pricey, but it's worth it. It's worth it. It's delicious. For folks who don't like a real fishy fish, this is your go-to. For folks who like a meaty fish and want something to bite into, this is your go-to. As it cooks, these pieces are kind of like marbleized, almost like a steak to a certain degree, in layers, and they flake apart. And it's just a really good fish, like all around. I can't say anything bad about it. I've never met anyone who didn't like it. And it's versatile and very easy to prepare, and easy to do different things with. That's my favorite. This is one of my most favorite fish. I like catfish a lot. There's not a fish I've met that I don't really eat or don't like, but this one is by far my favorite. I've cut up we're going to use some sweet peppers. So we got our red bell pepper, orange bell pepper, and I'm going to add a little cabbage to this dish. And the oil base that we're going to use to saute our vegetables with is a red palm oil. And this red palm oil is from Nigeria. It's usually sourced from Africa. I like red palm oil for some of the health characteristics. It has a lot of beta carotene in it. This is its natural color. There's no color added to it, this bright orange. So it's also going to add that color to the food that you prepare. So it just gives a nice liveliness to it. The flavor is not really intense. You're not gonna really taste anything different than if you were using a vegetable oil or anything. The main thing that you'll notice is it's got a pretty high smoke point, and the color. The color is what stands out the most, and it does transfer into the food. I use it when I'm making jambalaya. It helps brighten up that rice color. It's great with anything that you're making that's a colorful food. Especially if it's a red base or yellow or orange base, it's going to help brighten up that food and give you a little bit more nutrition and nutrients than the standard oils that we use here in America. I've been using this oil for a while. Every time I do a little research on certain dishes that I would try to mimic or recreate, and I recognize that palm oil, especially in dishes that come from Africa and in the Caribbean, they use this oil. So I started buying it, and I like it. It doesn't really taste like anything different than what you would expect from any other oil. And it's just a little bit better for you. It has no cholesterol, and there's no chemicals. There's no added anything to it. This is just refined red palm oil. So we got the fish. We have our palm oil. We have our vegetables. We're going to use some coconut milk. I am a big fan of coconut curries. I think coconut mutes the curry sometimes just enough to where for folks who don't like curry can learn to enjoy curry in a special way. I like coconut milk. I like the richness of it, and I like that it gives me the mouthfeel of gravy if I cook it down, but without or heavy cream and a richness without a bunch of added sugar or unhealthy fats. So coconut milk is one of my go-tos when I'm making curry dishes. I'm using my spicy Jamaican curry powder. I got this online from Amazon. It's Blue Mountain. This one is West Indian curry. And so this curry is good. It's got a very powerful flavor, but the coconut mutes it just enough to where it's not like, it doesn't taste like Indian food. It tastes like the curries that we kind of have gotten used to when it comes to Caribbean food. This season blend, I usually make my own season blends, but this one is one of my favorite go-tos. And it's by Lawry's. It's a sweet basil, citrus, and garlic rub. Now this blend is a very versatile blend. The citrus brightens up the flavors of anything that you put it on. Garlic is always a go-to, and the basil gives you a nice little hint of sweetness and surprise flavor that you may not be expecting, but it's not overpowering, or it doesn't hit the palate in a way that it makes you taste basil like you're eating pesto. It's not like that. It also has salt and pepper in it. So this is an all-around season. You don't need any other salts when you're using stuff like this. I advise people to read your labels, especially if you're monitoring your salt intake and your sodium intake. There's a lot of salt in a lot of these different. This one has 150 milligrams of sodium, so it's 77% of your daily intake. Go ahead.
For those of us who do not know about that salt, because one of the things salt, especially in Black people, it creates high blood pressure. How do you determine how much salt is in the ingredients? You just said it, so can you share that with our audience, please?
Well, the first thing and the easiest thing you can do, and the most powerful thing you can do, is read the label of anything that you purchase. That sodium has to be disclosed in the nutritional value. Everything, and then if you read the ingredients, whatever the first ingredient is, that's what's in there the most. So people are buying, like, I watch folks make food, and I get it. There's different flavorings and different types of salts. I'll see people put garlic salt and Lawry's and add some slap your mama and this and that, and it's salt on top of salt on top of salt with spices. Whereas you can do the same thing and look at the spices that are in there, pull those spices out, use those spices as powders or granulations, like granulated garlic, granulated onion, or paprika. This one has carrot. This one has salt, basil, onion, garlic, a little sugar.
Like about 5:45. I want to walk around with you, and I want people to... I'm sorry, I was talking to them.
No, it's okay. It's okay. This one has the onion, garlic. It has a little bit of sugar, red bell pepper, paprika, carrot, and orange peel. And so it's kind of like if you want to add flavor without adding salt, grab yourself a salt-free all-purpose seasoning. You're going to get a lot of different vegetable flavors through that, or add some celery if you want some more saltiness or earthiness to it. But just be mindful and read the labels of everything that you're utilizing, so that you know how much sodium is that you're taking in. We have to be careful with that. We have to be careful. Women too. Women are having high blood pressure now at rates that are pretty alarming. It used to be a male thing more than anything, but now it's an everybody thing. So we have to be careful with how much salt we're taking in. You can feel it when you have it in your body. Your body starts to hold on to water longer, and you're bloated, and you just don't feel great, So, but we do need salt. Now, we can't cut it all out altogether. It helps us our body to absorb the water, and it's in the electrolytes. We need it, but we can't overdo it. We have to be careful. And if you're constantly seasoning everything with this kind of salt and this kind of salt and this mixed seasoning, this seasoning salt, you're killing yourself. And I pray and I ask you to slow it down, chop up some vegetables, find you an all-purpose seasoning that is salt-free to mix with your salted seasonings, and see how that tastes you. Don't oversalt your food. If you're cooking for a lot of people, let them add the salt they want to it. You don't have to put a little salt, but you do, you should season your food to where it tastes good. Nothing should taste like salt. All right, so there's my little public safety announcement. So for this dish, it's really simple. I've done this a number of times in different ways. I just did it with some sea bass the other night. I woke up in the middle of the night and I had a craving. I needed a late night snack. I was hungry because I've been trying to work on myself and do some things to live a healthier life, but I was starving and I knew I had some sea bass in there and I had a can of coconut milk on hand. So I grabbed it. I was like, I'm just going to make this, but I made that with a green curry paste because I do like Thai curries. I keep some curry paste on hand all the time. So I put a little green curry paste in it. It was so good. I was like, oh, I got to do this with some Jamaican curry and some red palm oil. So we're going to get right to it. I got my handy dandy little propane burner here. I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of oil, maybe a little less. So I'm not making a ton. And this oil is like coconut oil. It comes out relatively hard. It's not so hard that you can't, stick a spatula in it. But this is what it looks like on the spatula. It's like butter. Right? So it's going to melt down like butter. It kind of gives you a, kind of feels or looks like ghee, kind of. Clarified butter that's kind of solidified. That's what it gives me, that kind of feel of. I'm going to let that oil simmer down. And I've got my vegetables already sliced up. The reason why we're going to go ahead and saute these vegetables first before we throw them in is to let some of that water break down from them. We're going to turn that fire down. I added a little garlic in there too, just because I didn't put onion. You may have noticed that I didn't put any onion in this. To me, fish and onion and coconut milk, it doesn't always come together nicely. I don't really like the flavor of onion with certain fish. Some fish, yes, but with this dish with coconut milk, the onion tends to overpower the coconut milk, and the sweetness and the two battle each other, and I don't like that. I'm gonna put this on mute because you guys hear that sizzle? It means my fire is working.
Chef Michauxnee?
Yes.
Are there any special pots or pans that one needs to successfully make this meal? Can you articulate on that, or just standard?
Not particularly, but I wouldn't use a cast iron skillet so much. You can, but I always typically use stainless steel pots and pans. They clean up nice, they don't rust, and they last a long time. I've had the pan that I'm using now for about 15 years, and I've never had it break or have an issue with it. I've never, even if I burn something, it's not hard to clean it, and it's just very durable. But you want to make sure whatever you're doing, you're putting enough oil to coat the bottom of the pan so that nothing is sticking. You're not cooking it on a super high heat. Right now, because I had it on high, not high, I had it on medium high, turn it down. You want your peppers and your cabbage to break down and break some of the water down so that it gets to evaporate a little bit while it's cooking. But you're not trying to caramelize everything, really. You just want to get it going so that those flavors can start coming through, and then finish cooking out in the coconut milk so those flavors are in the coconut milk. Now, this dish, I typically serve it over rice, but you don't have to. This is something that, a lot of us are trying to cut back on carbs. Dishes like these, you can build it up with more vegetables and make it into an entire meal that's carb free. So we got these vegetables are starting to break down a little bit. They're starting to get a little soft. I'm going to add some seasonings to this because I like to season my vegetables, even though they're going to suck up this coconut milk and all that stuff. It's nice to get them going with a little flavor. And I'm just using this maybe about, I don't know, maybe about a half a tablespoon for the amount that I'm making. This is a quarter of a red bell pepper, a quarter of a cabbage, a quarter of a yellow, and a quarter of an orange bell pepper in this dish. Sorry, it's smelling good. Yeah, one of these kids are going to start to come in here and get something to eat before it's time. And so I'm going to make a little like well in the middle of the pan. I'm going to add my fish to it. Before I add the fish, I'm going to add a little bit of the spice at the bottom of the pan so that when I put the fish on top, it's sitting on there. Add some curry. Curry's going to change the color of everything, and it's going to be so pretty when it cooks. I'm going to put these vegetables up against this fish so they get all that flavor all up on them. Turn the fire down for a minute. Just let it cook.
Chef Michauxnee?
Yes?
You could do your own cooking show. You are so on point with your expertise on what is needed and explaining it. So that's why I just chime myself totally off because you're doing an outstanding job. Thank you.
Well, you guys have given me space to learn in this lane, and I really appreciate it. I do feel like I've grown since the first show. And you guys have given me the opportunity to step out of my comfort zone and do something that I normally wouldn't do. I don't mind showing people how to cook, but I'm not a big fan of being in front of the camera. So I'm learning. I'm learning to just do all the things. So thank you. I have to attribute me being able to do this and do it well to you guys giving me the platform to actually learn how to do it. So thank you. Another place you build up me and my business. And I appreciate that. Sea bass doesn't cook. It doesn't take a very long time to cook. If it's a very thick portion, you would cook it kind of like you would a steak. It cooks kind of like that. I would never eat sea bass medium well. So I see people eat salmon like that more and more, and tuna. This is not one of those kind of fish. You need to cook it all the way through. It needs to reach 135, 100, 145 in the center to be done all the way.
Chef Michauxnee, how does one know the temperature of it? Do you get a meat thermometer and put it in
You
there?
get thermometer, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
I'm going to show you guys real quick what this looks like right now as it's cooking. That's what we're working with right now. We're going to add the coconut milk, and that's going to steam it up and give it some more depth of flavor. And then we're going to add some more curry once the coconut milk is in.
Chef Michauxnee?
That's pretty, huh?
Stop playing with me, girl. I'm getting ready to take my mobile device and run. Stop playing with me. Ooh, that looks good. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I just popped my coconut milk. Coconut milk is a funny little thing because you have the milk fat and then you have the water in the coconut, and there's a lot of milk fat in here. So I'm going to show you this. When I stuck my spatula in here, right, I moved it around so that the water could come out first. I want that out. And then this fat is going to come next. And I'm going to break this fat up and spread it around so that it can kind of melt down all together. Let's see if I got this right. Here we go. There we go. Boom. There we go. That milk fat, that's the goodness. That's the good stuff right there. That's what gives you the richness and all those good fats that help you build your body up and nourish yourself at a cellular level. As much as I don't want to be fat, we need some fat in our life to live. It might as well be the good ones. Coconut milk and sea bass works for me. All right, this is going. It's got a nice simmer. So now this fish is going to go from a pan seared to a poached just about, because there's so much coconut milk in here. It's not submerged in coconut milk, but it's got enough on here to where it's going to cook it all the way through. And it'll be like a poached fish. So not quite boiled, but kind of boiled. This is golden. This little burner, boy, I tell you, this little burner, I have these little burners at the restaurant depot years ago, and they come with a small propane. It's a small propane butane burner, and these little suckers are great for camping.
I need to ask you something. Is there a difference with cooking on electric or fire? And if so, can you tell us the difference, please? Thank you.
The difference with electric burners and fire burners, like this one is burning fire. You get better even heat with natural gas and fire. Cooking over fire and with fire is my favorite way to cook. With electric, you never really know what's happening with the element. You don't know if it's calibrated right. Sometimes they burn perfectly. Sometimes they cook unevenly. You just never really know. And you just don't have a choice always. But if you do have a choice, I would say go with fire. Go with gas. It doesn't make the food taste any different per se, except for you can't really get it like you can't put a flame on something in an electric stove like you can in a gas with fire. If you're trying to give something a little caramelization, you can get it caramelized in the pan, but you can't toss a little alcohol in there or something, or let that oil catch fire and make a pretty little sear on stuff like you can with a gas burner.
So if I were cooking that on an electric stove, I would have to be monitoring it a little more closely, and having that thermometer is almost essential with an electric stove versus a fire. So, I mean, you still have to use electric thermometer.
You should, we always use thermometers in the kitchen, just to be safe. Not people. I mean, at home, I don't always use thermometer at home because I know what I'm doing and I eyeball, and I've been cooking for a long time. But
now, what do you mean by be safe? So let our audience know, what do you mean by being safe?
Well, there are certain temperatures that food has to reach before it's actually safe to consume. So if you are cooking some chicken and it's at 135 degrees in the middle and it looks like it's done the outside, you're going to kill somebody or you're going to make someone really sick. What's happening is the bacteria that's naturally in the food is not having the time and space to cook out or burn or cook off, right? So there's a certain temperature range between 41, 42, and 135, 40 degrees that bacteria can grow rapidly if it's not cooked properly. And so if you're not cooking your food to the right temperatures, then you could be causing yourself a lot of harm or someone else with salmonella poisoning or listeria poisoning. There's bacteria on everything. You can't escape it. I don't care how much you wash your chicken, if you brine it, if you rub it down in lemon, it doesn't matter. There's bacteria in the meat. There's bacteria on the meat. There's bacteria is in everything and on everything that we do. It lives and breathes with us. So we have to be careful and make sure that we're cooking food, even your vegetables, to a certain temperature to make sure that any bacteria that is in the food or on the food is killed.
Well, let me ask you something. Just for a general rule of thumb, what should the temperature be? And does it vary from like chicken to steak to fish?
It does.
Can you just in general, if it's chicken, it's got to be above 135.
And if it's chicken and you're cooking chicken and it's cooking from raw, it needs to hit 165 degrees in the center of the meat away from the bone. So even if it's a chicken tender frozen meat, you need to take a thermometer. If you haven't done it before and it's your first time and it looks done, if you got the fire too high, because that's usually what happens. People will have the fire too high, the outside cooks before the inside does. So it looks done, but it's not done. And so that's where your thermometer comes in. You stick it in the middle. You're registering. You need to check the temperature. It needs to sit in the middle, and it needs to stick on a temperature for at least 10 to 15 seconds before you can say that's the actual temperature. It happens. I've had it when I'm training people. That's one of the things that, I buy them a thermometer. Some folks just don't know.
Well, I've noticed like a lot of people they char like a filet mignon. They're charred on the outside and it's bloody red on the inside.
Some people like it like that. And so beef is one of the meats that's a little bit different because you can eat it half done. I personally don't like rare meat. I need my meat cooked, but chicken is not one you can play with. Pork is another one you can't play with. You cannot eat a medium rare pork chop. Like, no, you'll be sick. Pork has as much bacteria and can turn faster than chicken can. If it smells funny, then it's not good. Like you have to be able to. You need to just pay attention to what you're doing. You can check, certain things, like you can touch it and tell how done it's going to be in the middle, like steak. People will touch a steak and they can tell if it's rare, if it's medium, or it's well done, because it's going to change texture through the course of the cooking phase. But with fish and stuff like that, you got to cook it all the way. This new trend of salmon being medium well and whatnot, I'm not for it. If you get salmon from me, I'm gonna cook it all the way. It's just what it is. To each their own, but that's not how I'm rocking. And there's the other thing too with back to the stove, fire versus electric. When you turn off an electric stove, it's still taking time to unheat, right? So it's still hot. It'll still be cooking your food, and you have the potential to overcook things. Whereas when it's a burner, when you turn it off, it's off. That's it. It's done. When you turn it off, it's off. So I don't know. I prefer cooking with gas. The other thing with food too is when you're putting food away after you've cooked it, you can't just throw something hot in the refrigerator and be okay. I brewed a whole pot of gumbo like that one time when I was younger. A big pot. After we had eaten a pot, I had a pot left, and I put that pot in the refrigerator. And the next morning, because I'm a dinner person for breakfast, I went to get me a bowl of gumbo, and there was bubbles and all kind of weirdness going on, and it was still warm in the middle. So what happens is the outside cools, right, but the inside is hot. So it's creating this space for the bacteria to just multiply. And seafood is one of those ones that there's always I don't care how long you cook it, there's a lot of bacteria in seafood. So you have to cool things down to a certain temperature before you can refrigerate them.
So the rule of thumb is, I've heard people say you wait until the pot or food cools down before you put it in the refrigerator. And can you explain that concept again to our audience, please?
Yeah, if you put food in the refrigerator before it's cooled down, especially if it's something like a soup or that's a pot. Now, if it's something that's on a flat pan that's not very dense or deep, it's going to cool faster. But if it's something in something like this or something thick and wide and it's hot, like mac and cheese, or it's going to take time to cool because it's so dense. And so the heat is trapped inside. If you put food in the refrigerator before it's cooled down all the way, especially soup or something with seafood in it, it's going to cool on the outside first, but that inside is still hot. And so that hot part is mixing with that cool part, and it's creating a zone, a danger zone, right? It's not letting the cool part cool down enough, and it's not letting the hot part cool down at all. So now you got this warmth in the middle and around this heat and the cold that bacteria is having a whole party in. and it's growing, and it's probably growing 10 times as fast as it would have been. Bacteria is going to grow in your food regardless. That's why it spoils. That's why nothing stays, good forever. But when you create these warm zones for bacteria, it goes crazy, and we want to avoid that. And you want to be able to use your food to eat your food again, especially if you have leftovers. We don't want to waste if we don't have to. All right.
Thank you, Chef Michauxnee. Thank you for explaining that, because I've had people say, "Oh, it's okay to put that in the refrigerator," but we don't. On this show here, we want to educate and articulate what will keep you alive. So
right. Becoming a chef and starting a catering business, one of the things that is required of me from the health department is to become a food safety manager. It's my job to make sure before I serve anything, it's my job and my duty to make sure that the food is prepared properly, is stored properly, is transported properly, and that folks are protected every step of the way. And I take that seriously. It's just something that, you can't play with it. You can't play with it. So, I mean, that's just that, you gotta make sure you're safe with your food. You don't want to hurt yourself. You don't want to hurt anyone else. I've never made anyone sick, and I'm grateful and proud to say that, and I don't plan to. If I see someone doing something that goes against my standard, I will throw some food away before I try to do something extra with it and save it. Like if it's dropped on the floor, it can't be saved.
Right.
Wait
a minute, there's no 3-second rule?
No, because honestly, a commercial kitchen, once it's busy and moving and growing, it could be a very nasty space. There's things dropping and stuff happening all the time. Wetness here and there, dishwasher, water, there's stuff happening. You don't want to contaminate anything with any of that. You have to keep the space clean, but when it's the hustle and bustle time, things get everywhere. And you cannot drop something on the floor, count 3 seconds. No, it's no good. It's gone. It's done. You just better hope it ain't the last one.
Chef Michauxnee, you have taught our audience so much in this 40 minutes that you've been on. I am truly, truly grateful that you took time out to educate, articulate how to stay alive and cook at the same time, because a lot of people use these idiotic rules of, well, if you drop it and pick it up quick, it's okay. No, audience, Chef Michauxnee has given you the rules and regulations of how to cook safely and how not to poison someone, or how to. Thank you, Chef Michauxnee.
You are welcome. So I am plating up this dish right now because it's ready. I love quick meals. When I'm in the kitchen all day long, the last thing I want to do is come home and be in the kitchen all day long. And so meals like this allow you time to enjoy your loved ones and enjoy some good food and spend some real time together.
Girl, you're gonna have me pass out in this Coco Noir wine and bar place. I'm looking at that food saying, oh my God. Oh my God. Look at you.
I'm gonna chop up a little. No, maybe not. Maybe not.
I'm on my way, hon.
So here we go. We are finished with this dish. I had some little stuff to put on as a garnish, but I think I put it in the other room. But that's all right. So we just got this fish floating around in these peppers and cabbage. You got a healthy and nutritious meal. Boom, boom, boom. There we go.
Oh my God, that is. And
it didn't take more than 20-30 minutes to get it all together from start to finish, with cutting the vegetables, preparing the food, and serving it. 30-minute meals are fun and easy.
So for Valentine's Day, folks, you have just seen from Master Chef Michauxnee how to make your partner, whether it be man, woman, fantastic meal. Jamaican curry Chilean sea bass with peppers over steamed rice for this Valentine's Day menu for that significant or special other. I am telling you the truth. Where are you? I'm coming through, or you come. We are at Coco Noir. I'll do anything what needs to be done. Come get a plate. Girl,
I'm gonna swing by and bring it to you. I'm gonna run down there real quick and then go take my kitty cat to the vet because he's got a hurt paw.
I want our audience to know, what are some of the dishes that you're going to be having once you get your brick and mortar? Because I know all the dishes, and I'm going down the list. I might as well just open up an account, leave my credit card there, because I'm.
Well, I've been playing with it in my mind. I'm gonna start doing some test runs soon, but we're definitely bringing brunch back. We'll have our 4-course prefix menu with our roasted salmon salad. The second course was our smothered potato frittatas, with the third option being the shrimp and grits or the oxtails and grits. And my shrimp and grits is my shrimp etouffee over grits. And then, of course, the final course being the homemade biscuit with the caramelized peaches and the honey, we call it honey crack, the honey butter sauce. Everything's house made. And then we're going to add a vegan 4-course brunch to this menu so that.
Did you mention the oxtail and grits?
Yes, we have the oxtails and grits are coming back. It's going to be the 3rd course still. Everything will be available a la carte. We're going to add a few things for kids because we didn't really have a lot of options for children. We're going to add a few kids items or maybe a small kids brunch and have a cute little 3-course brunch for them. But in my mind right now, I have this. I've been playing with a dairy-free, gluten-free banana pudding custard. And I did a gluten-free. I haven't done it dairy-free, but I know how, and I know what I want to use to make it vegan. And we're thinking of doing some kind of a vegan banana and like a banana and pralines waffle for the vegan brunch. We want to make sure we capture some real special flavors and ideas for the folks who don't subscribe to eating meat or only do a plant-based meal. I'm working on some stuff with a yam sauce and some fried cheese, appetizers. I'm thinking of bringing the smoky crab melt back, but as an appetizer with the piquillo pepper, the cream of piquillo pepper soup, doing some kind of appetizer with that. That was one of our lunch items that was really popular. It was like a grilled cheese and crab sandwich, made with smoked provolone, and it was just really good on sourdough bread. And I don't care for tomato soup, so I created this cream of piquillo pepper soup, and it's like a red pepper soup. Just playing with some stuff. We're definitely bringing the gumbos back and the etouffees and the jambalayas, but there's some other things I want to explore, and I'm still pulling it out of my head, and I'm going to consult with another chef that I want some advice from on building out this new menu to see how far we're going to take it into the diaspora. Just trying to see exactly where we're going to go, because I want to highlight the nature, the real truth of being a Creole or being Creole, and not just the idea that everything Creole is from Louisiana. Louisiana is the heart of my family, but that's not the only type of Creole in this world. We have Creole people in Portuguese or from Portuguese. Everywhere that we stopped on this journey to America and to all the other islands and all the other places that we were captured and taken to, holes and houses and homes Creole people. And there's Spanish Creole. So we want to tap on the different energies from all of these places and show the beauty of who we are and how Mother Africa created all of this.
Well, I started sliding off the seat. Looking up on pool going, Lord, she's going to make me pass out here. I have not eaten all day.
Well, I'm about to come see you in just a minute. Give me a second. I'm about to package this up and bring it on down.
Audience, let's be clear here. Chef Michauxnee, when she says she's cooking, I fast until she brings me something.
I appreciate that. So I'm be on my way so you can eat it while it's hot.
Oh, audience, we want to thank Chef Michauxnee, and we want to support her in any way possible. You can reach out to Chef Michauxnee at 510-927-0531 or email her at T as in Tom, or no, T as in the, B as in busy, W as in wife, personal chef at gmail.com, Facebook or Instagram. We want to thank you for coming on the show today. I am humbled that you, and I'm gonna be outside. You don't even have to park. I'm gonna be in the street. You're gonna pick. And
Look,
as you know, I always come with my tie.
I got you. Look it. I got you.
Oh my God! As you notice, I had to unravel my tie because I knew you were gonna have me sweating. So I said, let me kind of be calm.
It's not too spicy. Just a little.
No, I'm talking about sweating as in just saying, Lord, I can't wait till she get here. I'll
be there.
to the car.
I appreciate you guys.
No, we appreciate you. You have done and continue to do an outstanding job in articulating and educating our audience on what a real chef is. Audience, let's thank Chef Michauxnee Olier of The Busy Wife, and we will be supporting you in any way possible. And we want to thank you for coming on today. We pray and hope that you come back soon and share with our audience what a real chef can do.
I appreciate that.
Yes. Well, when you talked about, especially about how to heat up the using the thermometer and issues about cooking that can save someone's life, those are the types of important notes that are needed from a chef as she's cooking and teaching them, but how to cook safely. So thank you, Chef Michauxnee.
You're welcome.
Today. We will see you soon. All you got to do is text me and let me know you leave the house. I'll be on the corner.
All right. I'm about to leave right now. I'll see you in about 20 minutes.
All right. Thank you, Chef Michauxnee.
Take care.
See you next time.
All right. Bye-bye.
Audience, Dr. Ashley Coleman announcement, and since she's not here, I'm going to make the announcement. Who are you following on Instagram? Follow a few of those we follow. Donny Glover Official at Donny Glover Official, at blackusa.news, at Urban Cowgirl Ranch, at Urban Cowgirl 510, at Niles Swim Club, at The Busy Wife, at AASEG Oakland, that's African American Sports and Entertainment Group, at Millennial Democrats, at The Mask, at Black Farmland Owner Matter, to Mr. Donny Glover of the blackusa.news. We thank you for your continued support and mentorship in this space. And audience, be sure to tune in to Chap and Friends on Mondays, Titillating Tuesday with Stacy Dennis, Party Marty, Let's Talk on Tuesday, Black USA Crypto News with Kamal Hubbard on Fridays, as he knows all about blockchain and cryptocurrency. On Saturdays, the Blackout Live from New York with my sister, Kashmir. On Sundays, 60 Minutes in Black USA with my brother, Michael Haney. If you want to be in the know and reach our audience, then join the BBRT advertising family, or to be a possible guest on the show, reach us via our email, bbrt2021@hotmail.com. Include your company name, address, website, company phone number, and social media page info to our email address, bbrt@hotmail.com, for vetting consideration. Check out Our other network shows, hosted by the man, the unapologetically bold, Newsome, Mr. Donny Glover. And once again, the apologetically newsman, Mr. Donny Glover, such as BlackUSA.News, Morning Show, Donny Glover Show, People Over Politics, Political Cipher, Date 'Em All Sis, Community Connections, Resources and Gardening, The Robert Report, Shared Spaces, Frontline News, Troy Rawlings Show, The Beverly Smith Show, and stay tuned as BlackUSA.News is always looking for a great podcast host that can give audience new perspective. Also, keeping tabs on justice and asking our audience for your help. For Black History Month, please listen to the backstory of Carlton, sharing the hashtag Stand with Carlton of Raleigh NC 2022. If you would like to send messages or of encouragement to Carlton, just email us your message, which we will forward to him. We have an update on the next trial date for February 27, 2023. So keep using the hashtag Driving While Black Michael Thrash. Once again, hashtag Driving While Black Michael Thrash, Taylor County, TX. Attached is our podcast link from October 14, 2021, listed once again in today's podcast description. For Michael Thrash's story, highlight these stories on your social media and tag us too. Hashtag the Black Business Roundtable, Blackshear, and hashtag Black Business Roundtable, Dr. Ashley. And before we go, audience, I want to do another walk around of the Coco Noir restaurant, or excuse me, bar, wine and bar, and take a look at this place. This is unbelievable. This place needs to be packed right now because it is comfortable, relaxing, and I have the owner just showed up right here.
Hello. And when you were saying about being packed, I know we're not a club, we're not a lounge, we're a place where you can come. So if it's supposed to be a vibe where you can have great conversation with your friends and family. This is a place you need to be for that. So it's a place, it's like a speakeasy where it's the wine leads, the tapas meal. We have light bites, which is charcuterie and snack boards. So that's what it is. So during the weekday, you can come and chill, listen to great music. Yeah, so.
We want to support this Black-owned business, woman-owned business, 2 blocks away from City Hall.
Yes, 360 13th Street. We're at the Atlas building, which is right, and we're near the Tribune building as well. So we're right across.
And I'm going to walk one time through, and audience, let's thank Alicia Kidd for opening up her spot for us today to share this awesome ambiance. And let's make sure we patronize this wonderful business.
And go on my website at www.coconoirwine.com. I'm also on Instagram. It's everything, Coco Noir Wine Shop. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you, Alicia.
You're welcome.
I'm going to do one quick walk around before we wrap this up. Oh, and what is your name, young lady?
I'm Christina.
And Christina has provided outstanding service for me. I am waiting to get a big glass of something before I leave. We're going to walk over here to this wine collection. The Bubble Room.
All right, ladies, you ready? Yes, ma'am. My favorite sound in the whole world. Exactly. That's funny. I was having a debate with a friend today about champagne.
And as we wrap up today, audience, thank you for joining us today. We return Thursday, February 16th with Elisa Victory for Victory's Corner and candidate for 2026 Governor of California, Barack Obama Shaw. We look forward to seeing you every Thursday at 4 p.m. Pacific Time on the BlackUSA.News Network on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you, audience, for tuning in. And remember, together, we can listen, we can learn, and we can share, because I know you can. This is Doug Blackshear, and Dr. Ashley Coleman will be back next week of the Black Business Roundtable. God bless and good night. Thank you for joining.